Hello, I'm Jon McQueen. I am an instructor here at Arizona State University in the Sanford School of Social and Family Dynamics. My favorite hobby, I'm kind of a nerd, between reading theory and also watching movies and playing video games, as simple as that. I enjoy games that allow me to kind of decompress, and I enjoy going and reading books that are going to challenge my understandings. I have a favorite book that would be The Giver. I have varying books that I enjoy, but The Giver I've always enjoyed because it really plays, as a sociologist, to what happens if we do not have deviance or we don't have things that challenge the norms. It becomes antiquated, it becomes people following and conforming to everything. So I enjoy The Giver because it allows us to challenge these ideas. Movie-wise, Dead Poet Society would be cliche, but is mine in that sense. Robin Williams being able to show that teaching can actually impact and engage. It's about how much you engage with your students rather than feeling you have a superiority complex, but feeling like you can approach the student and make it an equal ground where you can teach. Really made me passionate to always want to have a growth mindset focus. So I started just about over a year ago inside being an instructor here at the school. However, I've been here for just over 2 years through different TA-ships as well as working with professors and building courses. Well, I have various research interests. Tying to my one that kind of pulls to me is the idea of generational data. I find that the intricacies and patterns that we see between like millennial versus Gen Z versus baby boomers, and we start seeing this dynamic of how we socially interact. Was able to research that formerly when I was a director of research and business development, going into metadata. But being able to pull that into the classroom has been really fun to see these things that I was studying in the marketing world actually in every student's daily life. What motivates me the most in my research and all the classes I'm teaching, such as the deviance or the intro or looking at any other areas I'm teaching, is that you can have a theoretical construction of what you think it's going to work at. But when you actually start seeing the practices, the socializations, the manners, how people are actually acting, really ties to just real life experience versus being, I think this is how it works. So when you're doing marketing and research, you're predicting based on quantifiable data and qualitative data, but you don't know necessarily. Being able to actually see it day to day is something that really keeps me inspired and wanting to do more. Of the classes I'm teaching currently, I would say my favorite class is the sociology of deviance, looking at the idea of topics that are just taboo by nature for a lot of people to not want to talk about, and seeing people have to come out of their shell, all the students looking at topics ranging from a little bit uncomfortable to straight up massively uncomfortable, and seeing them break that down and explore. And for those of you who haven't taken a deviance class, the topic in and of itself has a negative correlation when it doesn't actually mean anything negative, it just means straying away from a norm. But every student comes in associating negativity based on just the linguistics of the word. So you start seeing even a small little micro interaction playing into a macro and being able to watch the evolution of people challenging norms every day. Last semester, I worked with a student who was 56 years old in my intro class, and his son was also in a different intro than mine, but they were taking school together. This student had already gotten a degree before, but came back to pursue a different education and was able to have a socialization that I don't think I've ever seen before, where they were able to go to college here at ASU and learn together. And that's just something that when you work with these students, the unpredictable happens every day. You don't know what you're going to get to experience, and every semester has new outcomes and new interests. So it's always constantly changing and shifting. I would tell students who are thinking about taking a class with me to just come with an open mind. The way that I teach, I prefer the idea of having an environment that participation becomes part of the actual course, not just something you fear is going to happen when I ask if you raise your hand. Because to me, sociology has two different elements. One is the idea of hearing theory and practicing it. But if you don't know how to talk about it and tie it to your practical life, then you're just hearing something that someone said in the 1800s or the 1960s, and it starts losing its salience. So my courses, if you're coming, I hope you come with an open mind, and that you're allowing yourself to explore civility and conflict, because disagreeing doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that we have different point of views, which can build your total understanding.